live on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM or the VTRN Sports app. Open VTRN Sports on your smart speaker or stream live on YouTube. Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey, Lyle, and Ty Tracy.
7:03 on this Thursday, April 10th. Happy first day of the Masters, one of the best sports days of the year. Got Georgia on my mind. Shout out to that. Great coverage throughout the day here on the Virginia Talk Radio Network. Virginia Talk VTRN Sports Lynchburg, plus Masters tonight, later on tonight. Philip's here as well. Philip looking for redemption.
Anything's better than
0-4 last time we did Today in Sports History. That's a little bit later on. We'll have Andrew Alex as well. Ty is lurking over his shoulder. But, of course, we have to get to, in case you missed it, because last night I just magic happened on an NBA court.
Keeping up with sports 24/7 takes some serious effort, especially when you're sleeping. Don't worry, the morning warm-up stays alert around the clock. Now here is everything you missed last night.
Starting in the NFL, some sort of disturbing news. Police were called to the home of Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill and his wife for a domestic dispute Monday, although no charges were filed. According to the Sunny Isles Beach Police Department report, officers responded to a call from Hill's mother-in-law, who told them Hill was very aggressive and impulsive, and she was afraid for her daughter. According to Hill's mother-in-law, Hill and his wife, Kinta Vaccaro, got into an argument, and he threw her laptop on the floor before grabbing the 4-month-old daughter and heading to the balcony of the 35th floor apartment. Vaccaro told responding officers that she and Hill had been attending couples therapy due to their frequent arguments, but it hadn't worked, adding that she was in the process of filing for divorce. She was said Monday the argument began when she told Hill he was not involved enough in their daughter's life. According to TMZ, Hill was served divorce papers Tuesday. That's just more of a concern than anything else to monitor, a situation to monitor. Tyreek Hill, of course, not the best past when it comes to domestic disputes and domestic violence, and to be caught up in this again is not good, especially for a Dolphins team that has had kind of a rocky road with Tyreek Hill of late. You know, obviously at the end of the year, Tyreek Hill saying, "Get me out of here," and then he's not going to go. So something to monitor, a situation to monitor. Dolphins basically issued a blanket statement. They're aware of it, and they will monitor the situation. Other news for the Dolphins, we missed this the other day. Their starting left tackle, Trenton Armstead, actually retired at 33 after 12 years in the NFL. So that could be a big loss for a Dolphins team that probably needs to prove a lot this upcoming season.
Oh, yeah.
Other news and notes, Legacy Motor Club has obtained a TRO, a temporary restraining order, in their lawsuit against Rick Ware Racing over the agreement to sell the charter to Legacy Motor Club. Jordan Bianchi at The Athletic told Dale Jr. on his podcast that the sale was for $45 million. So the value of the charter has now gone up from $40 to $45 million. And that basically the TRO basically makes it so that Rick Ware can't sell this charter to anyone else. So, and for people out there that want to know what a charter essentially is your ticket to race all 36 races. It's your franchise, quote unquote, in NASCAR. So Rick Ware can't sell one of their two, which will be assuming what is now the 60 car, which is Ryan Preece. They lease that to Roush RFK. So it's kind of complicated. It's like 3 teams involved with 2 teams. It's complicated, but more lawsuits. All right. Interesting nugget is Virginia added veteran guard from BYU, Dallin. Hopefully I'm getting this right. Dallin Hall. He's a junior, 6'4", 200. So, again, another bigger guard who averaged nearly 7 points, 4 assists last season, shooting 40% from the field, nearly 35% from 3. That is his career averages has been around 40, 30, 35. and he's averaged between 6 to 9 points he did last season. So, I think this is another good ad. Obviously, BYU are about to get the number one player in the country. I think they kind of are going to have a pretty good roster last year. Hall needed space to fill, and you're kind of seeing it. These long, lanky guards that can shoot is the Ryan Odom blueprint, and he's getting another one in Hall added to the Virginia roster. So, moving on with the latest headlines. So, we'll do the Luka game last because there is a quote in that game that I need to get to from Jason Kidd, which I wish I found the audio for it because it's like, I can't believe he said it, but multiple people tweeted it, so it's true, and they said it on the broadcast last night. But let's get to it. Bulls beat the Heat 119-111, and for the people out there, Tyler Hero made this play where he had a steal and he had a wide open layup. I believe the score is like 117-109 with like 35 seconds left. It makes way more sense to shoot the three and make it 117-112 because you're going to probably have to foul right after you make the basket anyway. So I don't know why people are crapping on him for that. Just kind of situation. But oh well, if he made it, no one would have cared. Magic 96, Celtics 76. I can always tell when the Celtics don't play their starters. Peyton Pritchard leads the scoring with 15 and 10. I think the Celtics have locked up the 2 seed, so they really have nothing else to play for at this point. It's time to go into the... If we're talking about the bad teams...
Cash the flag.
Thank you. You got to... That's... Come on.
I had to, had to think about it.
Sixers 122, Wizards 103. Hornets fall to the Raptors 126-96. Jazz beat the the Jazz beat the Trailblazers 133-126. So right now, the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz are tied for the worst record in the NBA.
Wow.
Which really doesn't matter because the top 3 teams are tied for the odds. But still. And then as for the playoff picture, we're going to start in San Antonio as this was in Golden State. Harrison Barnes gets, I guess, a little payback after all these years. Hits a 3 to beat the Warriors 114-111. Thunder get their 66th win of the season as they defeat the Suns 125-112. J-Dub, Jalen Williams, the one that's the all-star, 33-7-3. And this officially eliminates the Phoenix Suns from playoff contention.
Oh, Katie is so happy, honestly.
Well, he hasn't played the last 2 weeks, so maybe he has.
Oh, yeah.
In the first game since the firing of Mike Malone, shocking, Nikola Jokic gets his 33rd triple-double and gets 20, 12, and 11, and the Nuggets beat the Kings 124-116. Clippers beat the Rockets 134-117. Ivica Zubac gets a triple-double. Harden goes for 35 and 10. Reece Epster got some run in that game, dropping 20. So Rockets probably didn't play their starters. But yeah, of course, the game that I think will probably be one of the most watched games this season, even though the Mavs are kind of probably will be, I think they clinched the plan with the Suns loss. So just before we get to the score, Jason Kidd asked about the Luka trade again. And I'm so happy. I double checked. Philip and Ty have not heard this yet. Trades Jason Kidd about the Luka trade. Trades happen. Some are comparing it to Babe Ruth, which is kind of cool. So Jason, if you want, the biggest, maybe most notable curse in the history of sports was the curse of the Bambino, where the Red Sox went over 100 years without winning a World Series. So, just until they won in 2004, and you really want to do that? Like you really? Oh, my bad. It was less than 100 years. They won their last title in 1918 and then 2004. So that's 90. That's 80 something years, right? Off the top of my head.
I think he's ready for the off season too. Honestly,
I just
can't
I
do
don't
this
I
anymore.
do not bring up Babe Ruth and trades.
Yeah.
That's what I would recommend because it's like the most notable curse in the history of baseball. I just want to point that out. It's the curse of the Bambino. And just basically that's all I have to say. So, game happens. Luka drops 30. Luka, so they do this tribute video. It's great. Luka's crying. And then he goes out and drops 31 in the first half. 45, 8, and 6. Lakers pull away in the fourth quarter to win 112-97. LeBron was awesome as well in this game. With 27. I mean, there were fire Nico chants throughout the whole game. There was Luka got the biggest applause out of anyone. It felt like kind of a road game for the Mavs at some points. Just to show like the impact of this trade. The moment for me of this game was the start of this game where they get the ball to Anthony Davis on the block and he posts up LeBron James and Mike Breen, who's on the call, goes, he was a part of this trade, meaning like he was going from the Lakers to the Mavs. But Luka was awesome last night. The Lakers clinch a top 6 seed. I tend to bet they will be the 3 seed in the Western Conference, which for them is going to help them a lot, being on the Rockets side of the bracket and not the Thunder side of the bracket. But looking at the standings right now, Lakers have clinched a playoff berth at 49-31. They are 1 game up of the group of teams that are in the play-in mix / the 4 through 8. And Denver right now is the 4 seed tied with the Clippers. Half game back is the Grizzlies. And then a game back are the Warriors. And a game and a half are the Timberwolves. So we'll see how that all shakes out over the next couple of days. That might have been a bad loss for the Warriors against the Spurs last night. Might lock them in the play-in, but we'll see how that all shakes out when these tiebreakers ensue. We'll talk about more of that in a second. Let's go through baseball scores real quick. Yankees get the win over the Tigers 4-3. Pirates over the Cardinals 2-1. Marlins over the Mets 5-0. Cubs fall to the Rangers 6-2. Padres over the A's 2-1. Diamondbacks win 9-0 over the Orioles. Giants defeat the Reds 8-6 on a great walk-off by Mike Yastrzemski. And Dodgers defeat the Nats 6-5. Mariners over the Astros 7-6 with a Randy Ozarena walk-off. Guardians over the White Sox 3-2. Blue Jays defeat the Red Sox 2-1. Rays over the Angels 5-4. Phillies defeat the Braves 4-3. Twins over the Royals 4-0. And the Brewers destroy the Rockies 17-2. All right, back to Luka's return. Philip, we've already talked enough about the Luka trade. I think we've talked about it, but to me, it's now finally like, okay, Luka's on the, like, last night kind of closed the book on, all right, this happened, this is real, like Luka's a Laker, and this is a team in Los Angeles that will be very dangerous in the postseason because you have Luka Doncic, and despite the fact he is 40 years old in his 22nd season, LeBron James is still really good. Really, really good at basketball. But for that fan base, is there any, like, do you get any closure from last night? Because I feel like you don't. I feel like they got to see their hero one last time.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, they'll still see him every year when he plays road games, but it felt like a lot of emotion was poured out last night in that game, both by Luka Doncic, which I think, who is, you read any article about it, he's been very emotional about this trade. He's felt betrayed, but I feel like last night was good for him in terms of he kind of let his emotions out with that tribute video. You saw his tears, and he's like, and then he goes out and plays so well. I think this makes, I don't know if my expectations for Luka Doncic are higher in the playoffs because they're already pretty high. He's one of the 3 best players in the world.
Yeah.
But I feel like that gave him some much needed closure that I felt like he hasn't gotten yet.
Yeah, definitely did, and especially seeing him absolutely crying and emotional, which is given to any athlete who returns to their home team. But just seeing how he absolutely dominating, just took it to their throat in the first half was absolutely insane. And honestly, you kind of felt like the storm had blown over from the whole Luka Lakers trade, because when this game popped up and I saw it on the schedule, I was like, oh, wow, like I forgot about this. I forgot about everything that happened. But I think it definitely gave Mavs fans a sense of, man, like it's over. Like it was a good run, but it is what it was. And hopefully we see this fire from Luka in the playoffs as well, just being on a new team and just seeing the opportunity they had, because you really haven't taken the Lakers seriously in the last, like since probably 2020 when they won the NBA championship. And if they can keep this up, though, I think the main thing about the Lakers going into the playoffs is just their consistency, taking a night on, taking a night off, and it's going to come from their role players as well. So if they can keep this fire going into the playoffs, I think the road ahead for them is going to be bright.
Yeah, and we talked about it. We're going to do our NBA picks next week, probably break down the bracket before next week once it's settled, because the West is very interesting because it is so loaded 1 through 8 that I honestly can say 1 through 8, if Golden State or whoever is in the 2 play-in teams outside of the top 8 in the standings don't get upset by the Kings or the Mavs in the play-in, which could happen. The Mavericks were about 3/4, gave the Lakers a really good fight for 3/4. And they also have Anthony Davis, who's one of the 15 best players in the world. And the Kings have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Sabonis, who all can get hot.
Yep.
Not saying they will win that game. I don't think they're as good. Now, if the Mavs had Kyrie, I would feel differently about the Mavericks. As a team, still think they shouldn't have done the Luka trade. Stupidest thing ever. But still, if you look at in a vacuum, the Mavericks team, still think it's a solid, it would be a top 8 team in the West. However, I would not be shocked if any of the top 8 teams currently in the West, so that's the Thunder, Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Warriors, Clippers, maybe outside the Clippers because I do not trust James Harden. I would not be shocked to make the Western Conference Finals. But I will say, I think I will be shocked if the Thunder don't make the Western Conference Finals. So if you're on the Thunder side, unfortunately, get out of the paint. And I just don't think you're going to make the West Finals. And that's just because I think the Thunder are too good. And that would be the Nuggets, Clippers, and then whoever between Minnesota and Golden State is the 8th seed. You want to avoid the Thunder. I mean, honestly, the Rockets with their inexperience. You have to rely on Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet. More Dillon Brooks in the playoffs. Get out of here with that. This should shape up to be a fun. I mean, the East is very top heavy. I feel pretty confident saying 2 teams are going to make the East Finals. It's the Cavs and the Celtics, whereas I can see 6 different, 7, 8 different possibilities in the West. And I really don't see Houston. I really don't see the Clippers. If I had to rank them 1 through 8, I probably have them 7 and 8, and it's for 2 different reasons. Clippers, I just don't trust them. I don't trust Kawhi's health, and I don't trust James Harden in the playoffs. And for the Rockets, it's just their inexperience.
Yeah, they're just too young.
The Thunder, the reason I think the Thunder are not getting as much lock them up to be the champion this year is because they don't have round 3, round 4 experience, which ultimately might hurt them. But they do have playoff experience. They played last season. Obviously, they got eliminated by Luka Doncic, which he's not afraid to play that team, which could be a fun matchup in the West Finals. So But last night, watching that game, it was very surreal watching Luka Doncic just torch the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah,
like he
just
did.
not lose a step.
He looked like Luka. Like compared to the first time they played, where he wasn't fully back and his shot didn't look good. His shot was falling. He scored his 45th point by like this insane reverse layup. He started to yell at the crowd like when Luka. I mean, we don't need. We already talked about that other night. By the way, NBA rescinded the second tech he got against the Thunder because they also knew it shouldn't have been a technical. Ruined a really good game. But Luka, this trade, it's going to have lasting effects. And last night, I would have loved to sat there with a Mavericks fan and just see their emotion, because this was Dirk. This was Dirk again. Like, they got Dirk again. They got a foreign player who came there and was going to be loyal and play 20 seasons and be one of the best players. Like, Dirk's statue in Dallas talks about loyalty, and like Luka was going to follow the Dirk model. And I don't know if Luka was probably going to bring them a title eventually. I mean, he already got to the finals, and this was a finals team. And I mean, the seeds of this started when Cuban sold the team. It's just, it blows my mind that this trade happened. Last night, watching the tribute video. By the way, funny part of the tribute video, if you recall, Luka Doncic was not the 5th pick in the NBA draft. If you watched it, it says, with the 5th pick in the NBA draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Luka Doncic. He was the 3rd pick in the NBA draft by the Atlanta Hawks, and of course was traded with Trey Young on draft night. Yes, so Luka Doncic has been passed by 4 teams in his NBA career. The Phoenix Suns, which, what a train wreck they are. Quickly on the Suns, like, second most disappointing team in the NBA this season. Probably the worst situation maybe out of any NBA team, because there's like no moving forward. Like, if you want to compare them to the Sixers, at least the Sixers probably can get a top pick this year. Phoenix doesn't control their pick for years, and their only way out is trading Kevin Durant. Really, it's going to be trading Devin Booker. They can't trade their worst asset in Bradley Beal, because Tim Leonis, the owner of the Washington Wizards, was like, yeah, let's give him a no trade clause. And so the Sixers easily could get Cooper Flagg, and it's like, oh, we could build around Jarrett McCain, Tyrese Maxey, and Cooper Flagg. That's actually a good future. We'll trade Joel. We'll try to dump Paul George's contract. Like, we can move forward with this. The Suns have no moving forward. They're the second most disappointing team this season. Durant's probably getting traded. I don't know if Devin Booker really wants to stay there, but it appears he does. And good old new owner syndrome affecting the NBA, both in Dallas and Phoenix. All right, when we come back, today in sports history, Philip Doss looking for redemption. If you get one of these wrong, I seriously think we will, Ty and I, as part of your internship, need to teach you sports history.
Yeah, you're going to have to create a whole new class.
So coming up next here on the morning warm-up, 7:30, or, well, closer to 7:28 to be more exact. But we're nearing the bottom of the hour here on the morning warm-up.
Hi, Gary the Third here, and I'm excited to say spring has arrived at Gary's Garden Center with great plants and a great selection. Gary's has seasonal color flowers along with vegetables, 60-plus varieties of herbs, perennial flowers, and much more. With friendly service and great advice, we are always happy to answer your questions. Visit Gary's Garden Center at 794 Leesville Road for all your lawn and garden needs. Stop by, say hi, and take a look around.
Are you ready to move to the next chapter of your life? That means you're ready for us. Hi, I'm Moyanne Harding, the region's only total turnkey realtor and interior designer. We'll come to you and help you decide what you're ready to let go of and bring you top dollar for those unwanted items. Most importantly, we'll sell your most valuable investment, your home. With decades of experience, just hand your keys to us and let the stress melt away. Call me today and book your consultation, www.moyanne.com.
Moyanne Harding, brokered by Keller Williams. Do you know what a cold climate heat pump is? They're a new generation of heat pumps from Tara Lee Mosley that provide substantially more heat than traditional heat pumps, even when it's 5 degrees outside. This means your electrical auxiliary heat runs less, saving you big time on your electric bill. And with the recent spikes in electric utility rates, that's crucial. Plus, these new heat pumps qualify you for a $2,000 federal tax credit. Contact Tara Lee Mosley for more info on the new cold climate heat pumps.
Hi, Gary the Third here, and I'm excited to say spring has arrived at Gary's Garden Center with great plants and a great selection. Gary's has seasonal color flowers along with vegetables, 60-plus varieties of herbs, perennial flowers, and much more. With friendly service and great advice, we are always happy to answer your questions. Visit Gary's Garden Center at 794 Leesville Road for all your lawn and garden needs. Stop by, say hi, and take a look around.
Guests are great, except unwanted guests. At Specialty Exterminating, we know the difference. Hi, I'm Sabrina Kennan with Specialty Exterminating. We help you keep unwanted pests out of your home. Now we can keep those reptiles away. Our new reptile repellent is the perfect add-on for your pest prevention service. It's pet and people safe, so it's perfect for any homeowner, especially pool owners and homes in wooded and rural areas. Call us so we can repel the reptiles. Specialty Exterminating, your pest prevention partner since 1979.
When you're voted one of the best plumbers according to Lynchburg Living magazine, you want to hire the best. Sullivan Plumbing wants the best plumbers to join our award-winning team. Do you have a clean driving record? Do you have at least 4 years plumbing experience? Then you're a 5-star recruit, and Sullivan Plumbing would love to meet with you. Take the first step. Call Sullivan Plumbing in downtown Lynchburg or email sullivanplumbing@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Villas at Oakwood. Our stunning community offers spacious, modern, wheelchair-accessible villas with top-of-the-line amenities. Enjoy views from the Peaks of Otter from your patio home. Connect with neighbors at our exclusive clubhouse. Discover your dream home today. Experience the maintenance-free lifestyle that you deserve. Visit us behind the Bedford Memorial Hospital, online at thevillasatoakwood.com, or just contact Robin Lee Sage at 434-238-4477.
Head to lynchburg-hillcats.com to lock in your tickets for the Lynchburg Hillcats this season. Now here's VTRN Sports.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:31 on this Masters Thursday, April 10th. A little bit later on, we'll have Andrew Alex from the Hokie Hangover Podcast and DT Scoop talking Hokie spring game. Plus, is Toby Lowell returning for the Hokies? It hasn't been announced yet, but he hasn't announced he's entering the portal, so you have to assume he's staying. We'll ask Andrew his thoughts in a matter of moments. But first, redemption time for Philip Doss.
Let's go.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
Many doubted we'd ever see it, but here it is. The return to glory.
It's time for Today in Sports History.
Seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
They go length of the court with Arcidiacono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
Let's hear what Ty really knows about what happened on this day in sports history.
All right, Philip, Ty can't help you today because I decided to give him all the answers.
Okay.
Starting in 1913, the New York Highlanders played their first game as this in a loss to the Washington Senators 2-1 at Griffith Stadium. Actually, in this game, another note, President Woodrow Wilson did throw out the first pitch.
So
1913, New York Highlanders became what team name?
Yankees?
Oh my God, he got it. Yes,
Okay.
the New York
starting
Yankees.
off calm.
All right. Staying in New York City in 1916, this was founded in America. I will give you a hint. It is a golf organization.
Oh wow.
There's like two to choose from in America.
Oh my goodness, it's like slipping my mind.
It's 3 letters.
PGA.
There we go.
There
Okay.
you go.
I was going to say it's either the USGA or the PGA.
Okay.
Those were your two choices
Two for
because
two.
LIV was not founded in 1916.
Okay.
All right, this is the one that I think you will have to go to class for if you don't get. In 1947, this man became the first African-American player to sign an MLB contract.
Jackie Robinson, perchance.
Yes.
Let's go.
Please don't do that.
I was like,
Let's go.
when he started laughing. I was like, does he not know this? Happy Jackie Robinson
Bo
Day.
Jackson.
All right. This is the hardest one I found for you.
Okay.
We're going to 1955. It was the 9th NBA championship. The Syracuse Gnats defeated the Fort Wayne Pistons 4-3 in the NBA Finals. The Syracuse Gnats later moved, and they later became what current NBA team?
New York Knicks.
No.
What? Wait. Okay.
The Knicks were always the Knicks.
Oh.
If you think about it.
New Jersey.
Nope.
What?
They left, I will say this, they left the state of New York.
Oh, man.
They didn't move far from the state of New York, but they left the state of New York. You have one more guess. You're going to beat yourself up when I say it. It's a team we've mentioned during this show.
Okay. Seattle Supersonics.
So he's going to say the right answer for a second.
Oh, man.
It's the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh.
So,
Man.
hey, 3-1 so far with 2 to go. You can finish with a winning record.
Okay. Here we go.
In 1962, 52,564 fans attended the first MLB game at this stadium at Chavez Ravine. It was a 6-3 loss for the against the Reds.
Oh.
It's a West Coast stadium. I will give you that hint. If you can get the team, I will count it.
West Coast.
But you basically would get the stadium name if you get the team. That's another hint.
LA Dodgers.
Oh, he got it.
Oh,
Dodger Stadium.
Okay.
That's why I was going to let him get the team name. That's
Okay.
going to be nice. Oh, so he's going to finish with a winning record. Will it be 4-2? Or will it be 3-2? Or 4-1? Yeah, or 5-1.
Come on.
Born on this date in 1936, this Hall of Fame head coach and iconic broadcaster, also the namesake of an iconic video game.
Madden.
What's his first name?
John Madden.
There we go.
Oh, okay. That would have
How
been
about
bad.
that? 5-1.
That would have been
Redemption.
bad. R.I.P.
Redemption.
He kind of scared when Jackie Robinson.
He did for a second. He started laughing, and I was like, "Does he not know the name?" And that did scare me, Philip.
Yeah,
So just so you know, 20-17.
let's go.
You've done it more, so I'd have to count winning percentage. But Ty at 28-8 is kicking your butt.
Man, a little bit, I guess.
Maybe I'll give them to Caleb tomorrow. These questions to Caleb tomorrow. So, Philip, you might get a pass tomorrow.
Yeah, let's see Caleb's knowledge tomorrow. Let's get
He
some
said,
questions.
and I quote, "I'm writing a statement about my loss in the bracket pool."
We won't care about that. You lost, okay?
Well, you can give him a hard time tomorrow when he'll be here. All right, still to come. Andrew Alex, VT Scoop, and the Hokie Hangover podcast joins us in a matter of moments. But first, we're gonna ask him for his Masters picks. I'm gonna give out a couple of my Masters picks. Paul Stone, of course, on the Fast Lane yesterday, gave out some Masters picks. Check that out wherever you get your podcast. Fast Lane, Ed Lane, wherever you get your podcast. Favorite, of course, is Scotty Scheffler at 4-1. Rory McIlroy at plus 650. That's one bet I'm going to take. I think it's just his time. Plus 650, give me Rory McIlroy. But in terms of people down the list, I think Victor Hovland is destined to win a major. So I'm going to bet him at 40-1. I like those odds. Give me it. I think I'm also going to take JT at Justin Thomas at 25-1. I'm going to take Bryson DeChambeau at 18-1 as kind of longer shot plays there. As for maybe a top 10 or top 5 I like Ludwig Aberg, who's playing good golf of late, plus 160, and Hideki Matsuyama at plus 230 to get a top 10 in that one. Those are my best bets for the Masters. Now let's see what Andrew Alex thinks of his best bets for the Masters, or his pick to win the Masters. Plus, he was there in the Final Four, so do want to give his thoughts on Duke's collapse against Houston, plus some thoughts on the Hokies. Next here on the morning warm-up, it is 7:40 on this Thursday, April 10th. We're here with Colt from We Fix Stupid Computers. Colt, to go along with your residential or individual walk-in services that you offer, you also do a lot of business IT support. How about you discuss that, and what specifically do you do to help businesses in the area?
We see a lot of that. Small to medium-sized businesses, they still have their IT projects. They still need resources to help them within their office and for remote users. And so we'll step in and fill in the gap where we do a lot of projects for them, help them manage their resources, their budgets, and get their technology under control.
Colt, how can these people reach out to you to assess their IT needs?
Call us. Our number is 434-525-8590. Our website, wefixstupidcomputers.com. We're on Facebook, and our office is here locally, 14690 Forest Road, right next to Scott's Cabinet on 221.
Mark Dalton here with Terry Volkswagen. Get ready to fall head over heels for the perfect VW SUV. One size doesn't fit all, though, and that's why Volkswagen has an SUV for everyone. From the compact and affordable Volkswagen Taos to the tech-packed Tiguan and the spacious Volkswagen Atlas. No matter which one fits your lifestyle, you'll love the comfort, performance, and safety. Stop by Terry Volkswagen on Forest Road in Lynchburg or check us out online at terrybw.com. Terry Volkswagen. You'll love our cars.
When you're voted one of the best plumbers according to Lynchburg Living magazine, you want to hire the best. Sullivan Plumbing wants the best plumbers to join our award-winning team. Do you have a clean driving record? Do you have at least 4 years plumbing experience? Then you're a 5-star recruit, and Sullivan Plumbing would love to meet with you. Take the first step. Call Sullivan Plumbing in downtown Lynchburg or email sullivanplumbing@gmail.com.
Guests are great, except unwanted guests. At Specialty Exterminating, we know the difference. Hi, I'm Sabrina Kennan with Specialty Exterminating. We help you keep unwanted pests out of your home. Now we can keep those reptiles away. Our new reptile repellent is the perfect add-on for your pest prevention service. It's pet and people safe, so it's perfect for any homeowner, especially pool owners and homes in wooded and rural areas. Call us so we can repel the reptiles. Specialty Exterminating, your pest prevention partner since 1979.
Are you ready to move to the next chapter of your life? That means you're ready for us. Hi, I'm Moyann Harding, the region's only total turnkey realtor and interior designer. We'll come to you and help you decide what you're ready to let go of and bring you top dollar for those unwanted items. Most importantly, we'll sell your most valuable investment, your home. With decades of experience, just hand your keys to us and let the stress melt away. Call me today and book your consultation, www.moyann.com.
Moyann Harding, brokered by Keller Williams.
Allstate agent Donovan Howell is now serving Lynchburg. He lives and works here just like you. And with all kinds of local insurance advice, Donovan is someone you can count on to help you protect all that's good in your life. Donovan makes it easy to save on the quality protection you need, and he'll even help you do the switching and the paperwork for you.
Call or come by the Donovan Howell Allstate office in Windhurst today.
Your home is more than just walls and windows. It's where life happens. And at Right Choice Construction, we get that. We're not just builders. We're fathers, mothers, neighbors, just like you. And every nail and every beam reflects our commitment to creating a place you're proud to live in. With Right Choice Construction, you're choosing a team that's been perfecting the art of building for years. So build with us, build with experience, build with quality, build with Right Choice.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:40. We're going to round up. 7:45. We're about 5 seconds from it. So I'm going to round up on this Masters Thursday, April 10th. Trey Lyle here with you. That's Philip Doss. Ty Tracy lurking in the background, but joining us now, fresh off a Final Four trip to San Antonio. At Andrew Alex Radio, of course, we talked about his love of Duke, his hope for Duke this past weekend. So my first question, of course, is about the Duke Blue Devils. And seeing that collapse live, Andrew, one, what were your thoughts in the moment? And two, now that you've had a couple days to digest it, any other thoughts about, seeing Duke ultimately fall the way they did to Houston? And then also you were at the national championship. Your thoughts on Florida winning it all?
Trey, always a pleasure to be on the program here with you. I think when we talk about, what my thoughts were in the moment, I'll tell you this: with 9 minutes left and they're up by whatever it was, 14, 16 points, you think to yourself, oh my gosh, they're going to step on their throats again, just like they did to Alabama, just like they did to Arizona, what have you. You think this is good. Suddenly, obviously shots are no longer falling. There was that very weird sequence with the technical foul that comes up a three-pointer, by Houston, which basically ends up being a 7-point play for the Cougars. And that took a game that was on the precipice of a blowout back into competitive territory, right? So when I look back at that game, not a lot of people will remember that. That will always be one of the first things that come to mind, because that took a game that effectively seemed over and made it competitive in a heartbeat. From there, when they were up 9 with 2 minutes left after that Cooper flag 3, when they were up 6 with 30 seconds left, you think to yourself, after things have gotten stressful, especially at the ladder, wow, okay, this got stressful, but at least they're going to get out of it. But what could go wrong did go wrong. And, I have my own thoughts about the over-the-back call on Cooper flag at the end that, basically really put Houston in a position to win. And obviously Proctor could have made those free throws, but at the end of the day, Trey, it is what it is. It's college basketball. And though I think Duke was certainly a more talented team, the age and experience of the Houston Cougars, I think their average age is like 22 and a half, 23 years old. And that's starting right out compared to Duke's like 19. And that showed. So it's a bummer. I love going to the Final Four, Trey. I think this is my third Final Four since I've met you. And you go, and it's super fun. And on Saturday morning, and everyone's partying in the streets, and you have 100,000 people divided by 4 teams. All of them think they're going home with the championship, and obviously only one can. So it's a risk that you're willing to take. I think it stings a little bit more the way that it happened. If you're a Duke fan, especially knowing that even though Duke is always going to get good recruits, Cooper Flagg is a generational player, national player of the year. And, those guys, even for Duke, don't come around every year. As for the Florida game, got to give credit to the Florida Gators for what you can only call resilience, whether it be their Elite Eight comeback, whether it be coming back against Auburn, despite being down double digits at or around halftime. And then obviously what they did against Houston, when Houston looked like they were in the driver's seat and had the lead for, I believe, the 58 minutes and 30 seconds of a 60-minute basketball game, right? But, hats off to them. Really talented team. I never counted them out because when you looked at halftime, you saw Walter Clayton Jr. had 0 points. This is one of those things where you're like, okay, this is going to regress to the mean, or progress to the mean in that case. There's no way they're going to be able to shut this guy down for the entire game. And him and Will Richard really just turned it on. Feel bad for the kid with the double clutch on the final play there, Trey. Seeing the palpable emotion on him, in his body language, on his face, after realizing that he kind of screwed that up. It was hard to watch for a Houston team that they do have some transfers, but like Joanne Roberts and other guys like that on that team have been playing for Coach Keldon Sampson since they were 18, and now they're 23, right? So, they really wanted that for obviously their team. You can tell they really wanted it for their coach. But at the end of the day, a 38-year-old Todd Golden brought a ring back to Gainesville, and in the era where the SEC is driving the money in college sports, and I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. That is a huge, huge win for that program. So hats off to them.
At Andrew Alex Radio, Andrew Alex joining us from VT Scoop and the Hokie Hangover podcast. Time to talk about those Hokies, and a lot of good news on the basketball side. Of late, you had the return announcement of Jaden Shutt, Ben Hammond, and Tyler Johnson all announcing they're coming back to this team. They were, if you wanted to make the list of guys you probably wanted to see back, they were amongst the top 5. Hammond and Johnson probably a part of the top 3. How important was it for those announcements with, it appears, some key portal additions coming in, including that big man from West Virginia? It seems to me that the Hokies are making the course correction that's necessary, but bringing back the talent they want in Shutt, Hammond, and Johnson.
Yeah, Trey. I mean, as I've always said, with Mike Young's offense, it's not something that generally is picked up overnight, right? So to have the ability to not only bring back, players on the roster, but players that are something of a proven commodity, and give them the opportunity to work together for another year, and give them the opportunity to, as they should, given where they are in their college basketball careers, develop in a serious way. I think that's really exciting for Mike Young. I tell you already, not knowing anything that happens after this, the outlook for Virginia Tech's basketball season right now today is better than the outlook was at any point during the preseason going into 2024-25, right? I can't directly quote Toby LaWall here because we're on terrestrial radio, but everyone thought there was going to be fill in the blank. They were fill in the blank but they weren't that bad, right? So I think that bringing those guys back with the opportunity to make some additions gives them the opportunity to go from, and I quote, not that bad, to a team that, in a volatile ACC, which, I will be honest with you, it's still way too early in the process for me to even look at what the other teams are doing and seeing where I think Virginia Tech is going to, shape out. I'd expect Louisville to be really good next year. Obviously, Duke, despite the roster turnover, they're bringing in the twin sons of former Duke star Carlos Boozer. They just won the national championship in high school, and you expect them to be pretty good. Carolina will always get a preseason ranking, no matter what actually happens the year before or is going to happen the year after, right? But beyond that, still kind of the wild west in the ACC. So I'd expect Virginia Tech, if they can retain, if they can develop, to have the opportunity to be at the top half of that conference. We'll see how the rest of the portal goes. And as you know, the portal is a ongoing process, and championships are won in April, Trey, but not for teams that didn't make the NCAA tournament. So, we're just going to have to see how it shapes out. But so far, so good. I'm all positivity.
Looking at any concern, and you can answer this quick because we're here with Andrew Alex. We've got to get to football because the spring game is this weekend. Any worry that Toby Lawal hasn't announced anything yet, whether he's going to the draft, whether he's going to the portal, or if he's coming back? It seems to me that if they were going to include him in that preseason video or that Mike Young video saying we're going to get this fixed, he's coming back. It just hasn't been announced yet. And the fact he hasn't made a portal announcement either makes me feel that way. But any concern when it comes to Toby Lawal and him not coming back for Virginia Tech?
I'd certainly be less concerned if he would just say that he's coming back. But basically I don't have any specific intel on this one, Trey, which is usually a good thing because the intel I would get would probably be that he's not coming back, right? But yeah, for all intents and purposes, I'm leaning on the fact that he was featured in that video. But I think that given the reprioritization of the basketball budget, I think they know who their most important guy is going to be, and that's Toby Lawal. So my assumption would be that he's probably just holding his horses, waiting to see if, a team of the likes of like a Duke or a Kansas or what have you is going to come and make him an offer he can't refuse. But at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see. And the problem, Trey, is he is talented enough that someone will pay him, right? So it's hard to, in this era of basketball, blame him for exploring his options.
Here with Andrew Alex at Andrew Alex Radio from VT Scoop and the Hokie Hangover Podcast. Kyron Drones shut down for spring. Obviously, the new offense with Philip Montgomery coming in. You're worried about not only the health of Kyron Drones, but him understanding this offense and getting, getting right before the season starts.
Yeah, Trey. The thing is, it was my understanding going into last year that Kyron Drones had no intention of playing for Virginia Tech in 2025. It was going to be 2024 and then transfer or draft. Why didn't that happen? Number one, his performance dropped. Why did his performance drop? You could be gracious and assume that it didn't just get worse and blame it on the injury that he suffered through all year last year. Well, at that point, Kyron Drones was damaged goods. I think that they've known that this surgery was going to be required for far longer than any of these media outlets have known or would lead you to believe, at least, with information that they're willing to put out to the public, Trey. The injury is the injury. He was injured last year, so I'm no more or less concerned than I otherwise was, given that, it's something that at this point, if you've been watching Virginia Tech, was kind of baked into the cake. In terms of learning the new offense, it's obviously not good. It's obviously not good that your starting quarterback is going to be missing out on that crucial period of time where you had the opportunity to learn that new offense. And to my understanding, is not only going to not be participating in camp, but will be missing a lot of camp. The surgery is going to take place in Houston, and he's going to be doing some rehabbing in Texas. I don't know that to be 100% true, but that's what some sources have told me. So yes, I'm concerned about that. To the degree I'm concerned, I don't know. Again, there's a lot of things that we are question marks when it comes to this team right now, Trey. But at the end of the day, man, you're just gonna have to hope for the best, because seems like that's the hand that Virginia Tech's been dealt. There's no situation that would be any better per se that Virginia Tech could realistically have at this point.
Andrew, quickly, we got about a minute left. Spring game is this weekend. Always a fun weekend in Blacksburg. I do love that Pry, since he's come on as head coach, has kind of lined it up with the Memorial Weekend, obviously for the shooting at Virginia Tech, just because it's a good way to kind of honor that memory and as a weekend to come together. Any position groups you want to look for when it comes to the spring game and see how they perform? Obviously, outside of maybe the backup quarterback situation.
Yeah, Trey. I would just say O-line versus D-line. Obviously, we want a big improvement out of the offensive line this year. That's going to be crucial. And it's a lot of new faces on the defensive line. So at that point, Trey, it's really going to be interesting to see how that stacks up. Other side of things, without drones, it'll be a little bit less telling, if you will. But I'm really excited to see how that wide receiver group plays out. Again, a lot of new faces there with Jennings, Lane, Felton, all not returning, for all by way of loss of eligibility there. So I would be interested to take a look, see who's getting reps, who's making big plays. You never really take much out of the spring game. They're not showing you much. That's by design. But, still always a fun thing. And, shout out to anyone who's making the trip out to Blacksburg. They have that 3.2 for 32 that they run. Always a good event. And, always good to be in the Berg. So, yeah, just don't try to make any sweeping declarations from it. But, go out there, tailgate, and enjoy yourself if that's what you're into.
Thanks so much, man. That will do it for today in the morning warm-up. We'll be back tomorrow with early reaction to the Masters. Listening to the morning warm-up on VTRN Sports, 93.3 FM, W227 BG Timberlake, and 1320 AM, W.